Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the MathStar 2 Gaming News section of this week. I know it's been almost 3 months at this point. Unfortunately, I had to finish up school, and then I got back home, and I was just like, man, I don't want to do anything. And so, yeah, I'm finally back. And unfortunately, it's not because I was like, oh, I'm finally remotivated, necessarily because, oh, I'm super passionate about video game news again. It's because the news that just recently came out is a bit shitty, to put it lightly. And so, what am I talking about? So, if you haven't heard, if you're not in America, you may not necessarily know what happened, but as an American, I'm pretty sure you know. But just to recap, Roe v. Wade was recently overturned by the Supreme Court, basically saying, yeah, abortions are not federally allowed, or at least not federally mandatable, and it has to go by a state-by-state case. And so basically, a lot of states are either immediately going to get triggered to activate certain laws that prevent abortion, or could or will ban abortion in the future. Now, there are like 16 states, I think, California, Maryland, New York, and like 13 other states basically said, yeah, you're allowed to get an abortion. We're not going to stop you. However, compare that to, a majority of the other states, particularly like Texas with its bounty laws, where if you get an abortion or suspected to, people can basically say, hey, I think they got an abortion and get money if, for example, they do get prosecuted for that. And that's just fucking disgusting, Texas. And so, yeah. Why am I talking about some real life news on a gaming news channel? Well, I'm glad you asked. And the big main reason is because a lot of game studios have spoken out against this and said, hey, that's some shit. So let's go over some of those games companies, shall we? So when initially Roe v. Wade was overturned, there were a ton of companies coming out in support of getting reproductive health care. And PlayStation Studios, or at least like the head of PlayStation, was like, hey, we won't say anything. And everybody's like, fuck that. So for context, last month, Insomniac Games CEO Ted Price reportedly told his employees that parent company Sony will not approve any statements from any studio on the topic of reproductive rights. And I'm thankful that it's not true, at least apparently so, because Insomniac and a ton of other Sony studios said, fuck that, reproductive freedom, and yeah, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studio, San Diego Studio, Bend Studio, Media Molecule, Guerrilla Games, and the PlayStation London Studios, in response, with Insomniac said, hey, reproductive freedom is a right. And so, yeah, basically, a lot of game studios have come out in favor of this. Bungie, best known for Halo and Destiny, have come out. Activision Blizzard have said, we also supported Ubisoft, Bethesda, Niantic Labs, and Devolver Digital have also said the same things. But some companies have taken it further than just saying, hey, we support reproductive freedoms. So, for example, Destiny developer Bungie said, hey, we're going to give you travel reimbursement if you need to get reproductive health and your state doesn't allow it. And so this is wonderful, and I think this is at least the bare minimum, but of course, there's a few cases why I could see some companies not saying anything, but I'll get into that later. So Bungie, ahead of the group and saying, hey, we'll give you some help if you need it. Activision Blizzard have also said they will do it too. And one good thing about them, on top of all the mountains of shit that they have put other people through and what their workplace cultures is like. So yeah, I'll give it to you this time, Activision Blizzard. And so they said we'll expand medical travel benefits, including reproductive health, gender-affirming treatment, transplant care, and other medical care that is not available in a covered person's state or within 100 miles of where they live. And so this is wonderful hearing from Activision Blizzard, Bungie, and other major game publishers that I have mentioned also said, hey, we are in support of reproductive rights. And even the International Game Developers Association told Ars Technica in a statement that we believe bodily autonomy and choice over one's own reproductive and healthcare matters are crucial to the organization's mission. One must be in control of their own health matters in order to successfully manage their career and life. And yeah, basically said, and EA also came out and tweeted during Pride Month, well, it is Pride Month now, but at least the beginning, saying women's rights are human rights. And yeah, they issued a much more detailed statement saying it will soon offer expanded travel health benefits for eligible U.S. employees and their eligible dependents. And this is wonderful. I'll give EA, Activision Blizzard, a pass just this once for doing something right this time. And, Bungie, I expected actually no less, honestly. But now there are certain other companies that you might be like, hey, how come they didn't say anything about it? Particularly in the case of like Sony, Jim Ryan, the CEO, was initially very skeptical about saying anything. They were going to remain neutral, and then either they changed that, or the companies or the studio said, "Fuck it, we're going to say something, and you could try to fire all of us." And so yeah, they also said, oh, we don't think this is good. And in particularly in the case of like Insomniac, and I think Ben Studio 2, which are located in Texas, let's just say that I think this is ballsy for them to even say in the first place. And I don't know if they can say anything more about providing reproductive health, like travel reimbursements, because if you don't know, I think I mentioned it, but Texas has like a bounty law where if you get an abortion or you have a miscarriage, people can be like, hey, I think they got an abortion or miscarriage, or abortion, and say, hey, I think, they broke a law. And yeah, that's really shitty. So I don't think Insomniac, Ben Studios, I think there's like one other here, can really say anything about providing travel reimbursements, because that would be against Texas's law, and they could get very heavily fined, I think. So I understand why I don't want to say anything, but I definitely think under the table, do a little bit of that law breaking, just don't say anything, Hey, you need some help? Got that money for you, I don't know exactly what their plan is, especially for the companies that are in studios that are located within Texas or any other state that, doesn't allow abortions and or will try to fine them for giving out abortions or helping assist in abortions. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see in the future. So yeah, all in all, pretty shitty news for America. We're definitely regressing about 50 years. And yeah, I don't know. I hate it here because of the fact that this is happening, and only thing we could really do is to try to codify it in a majority of the states, and then states like Texas, some of the other southern states that are very Republican, we'll have to try to just get them out of there and get help where they need it. And it just like, I don't know. It's so maddening to see this in my country, and it's just, I can't believe it. I mean, I can, but I hate to see it. But so anyway, hopefully this gets better. Hopefully a majority of the states will codify Roe v. Wade, or at least the right to an abortion. And then we could try helping out the other states where that's not going to happen at all, for sure. And yeah, man, I hate bad news. I really do. But unfortunately, that's all that really comes out of some of the games industry. Now, there are some good news, yes, but this was so big that I had to come out of my partial vacation to talk about this, because this is huge, and I hate it. But hopefully you guys are a little bit more informed about, some companies making a better change than others. And yeah, I hope y'all have a nice day, and I hope you can get help if you do need it for whatever reason, because if you can't, I'm really sorry.